In the wise words of Mr. Krabs, hello, I like money. A phrase I'm sure many of us can relate to, or is it more accurate to say that we just want to look like we have money? Maybe you have dreams of driving a Lamborghini or owning a Birkin bag one day. That's cool, but here's an idea. Maybe don't dream that. In 2023, the luxury goods market was nearly half made up of the middle and lower income consumer. Meanwhile, American credit card debt in that same year was at $1.129 trillion. Not to mention the straight up glorification of getting rich and buying just an absurd amount of luxury goods like not a single human being needs all of this type of stuff. And this is the part of the video where I'm supposed to say, boo, liking money is bad. I have a camera and a following, so all my opinions are correct. But I honestly think there are so many layers to this discussion, and it is fascinating. Now, this video is going to be about flex culture, and I'm gonna be honest, it was a little hard to write because on the one hand, there are people who like luxury items because they genuinely like the item. There are other people who like luxury items because they want to wave it in front of other people's faces. Flexing is defined by intention, and only you truly know your intentions whenever you buy something or do anything. So with that being said, if you know that you are buying luxury things because you want to show them off to others, allow me to explain to you why that's very dumb. I was reading this research paper, and by research paper I mean Reddit post, that was talking about how flexing only works when you do it to a socioeconomic class that is beneath you. Because otherwise it would just be corny. Like think if this happened. Sorry I was late today, guys. My 2007 Toyota Corolla needed a wash. Yep. That's right, only 300,000 miles on an automobile made while Bush was still in office. I think it's only like one of 700,000 models made. Don't mean to brag. You see, those sentences were very confusing to us all because why? See, to a lot of people, nothing about that is impressive, and so the flex fails because a lot of people are in a socioeconomic class that are equal or better than that. Now, replace the same flex with a nicer, more modern car, and maybe it holds a little bit more weight. But again, if me and you are in the same tax bracket and I see you doing that, it's just corny again. And that's why flexing is really weird, because it only works when you do it to people who seem to be doing worse than you. Because to everybody else who's on your level or above, you just seem like an absolute loser. Maybe you don't care how corny it looks and you still want to do it. That's fine, I guess. But can you do me a favor? If you're going to spend thousands of dollars just to show it off to people, can you at least make it look good? You listen here, bucko. I have had the glow up. I have put in the work. I have put in the hours. I have watched more men's fashion tutorials than necessary. Am I perfect? No. But I think I have earned the right to say I can dress. And so when I see people who claim to have fashion and style dressed like this, it makes me physically irate. I will never understand a person who buys a piece of clothing or bag that just has a logo from a company plastered all over, copy and paste style, and then you look me in my eye and say this is fashion? This is couture?
No, you can't say that because style and fashion are all subjective in its opinions.
Well, my opinion is that you're stupid and wrong and bad. Nothing about this looks good. The colors don't match. The silhouettes that they make are abysmal. Half the time they don't even properly fit. This is not fashion. This is the equivalent of sewing together 10,000 $1 bills into a onesie and expecting me to be impressed by that. And then when people rightfully critique your outfit because it looks like you dressed up all by yourself without mommy's help today, you can just rely on the fact that, well, this was expensive. And as we all know, expensive is good, right? No! Fashion is a form of self-expression. I am so impressed when somebody can go into a thrift store, see a vision, and then walk out with an outfit that makes you go, It doesn't even have to be my style, it just has to be a style, something that represents you, something individual. When people dress from head to toe in designer clothes with no rhyme or reason, it screams to me that I have a severe lack of individual style that I am trying to make up for with an irresponsible use of disposable income. Please clap. But let's say despite all of that, you still feel like a loser who needs to get his bread up. I mean, look at that 2-year-old who already has a brand deal with Toys R Us and now owns a Tesla. His squishy little legs aren't even strong enough to hit the pedals. This is true. Social media is full of people who live in nicer homes than you, drive better cars than you, and overall live a more elevated lifestyle than you could ever hope to achieve. Except no they don't, it's all lies. Do you know how easy it is to fake looking rich? You can rent luxury cars by the day, sometimes by the hour. You can Airbnb mansions for a night. You can buy empty boxes from luxury designer brands on Depop. Yes, you heard me correctly. Empty boxes, you can purchase them for money. This is the political and economic state of the world right now. To put this into perspective, I recently paid off my credit card, which has a limit of $3,000. So if I really wanted to throw away all that progress right now, I could do so with the following. Rent a luxury car for a day, or even better than that, I can get this thing called a Lamborghini tour for 30 minutes, just take pictures and then that's it. I could buy 1 or 2 designer pieces with logos plastered from top to bottom and then immediately return them the next day. Then I can end the evening by renting a mansion for a night with my 5 closest fellow clout-chasing friends. And then we could just take like an irresponsible amount of photos, post them, and then cry over the bills later. That's tomorrow's problem. Now, if I did that and you saw those photos, you may assume, wow, this guy is rich. But oh no, that is not true. But I did accomplish my goal though, which was to get you to think that I was rich and successful. I'm not. It's all lies. Now, if you'll excuse me, my throat is feeling a bit parched from all this yelling. I'm going to leave the room and make some tea for exactly 60 seconds, as I agreed to do when I signed a piece of paper a few weeks ago. Feel free to change the channel while I'm gone. He's an internet expert here to give us his tips on how to navigate the internet safely and securely. Please welcome my guest, John. I must say thank you, John, truly, for having me. It's a pleasure. Great to meet you. This is the first time we've ever met. You can tell we're not the same person because our eyewear is different. That's true. So, John, what can you tell us about being secure on the internet? Well, David, let me ask you this. How did you feel when you saw me following you around in the parking lot and the studio for the past 30 minutes? Oh, it made me very uncomfortable. Right? Oh, I figured. Man. You know, I must knew you would say that. I nearly pepper sprayed you a number of times. See, you value your privacy, and you deserve privacy on the internet as well. And that's what today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, is offering. See, with Surfshark VPN, your data is encrypted and your IP address is hidden. That way no one can spy on you, your online activity, or other sensitive info, including your internet service provider. So you can feel free to browse on public Wi-Fi networks knowing that you're secure. No pepper spray needed? None whatsoever. Whew, that is a relief. Because I must say, John, I really almost... there you go, right in the face.
Yes, I'm well aware, and I did apologize, so please stop.
Oh, yes. Man. Good times. So what else can Surfshark do for me? Well, it also lets you virtually place your device anywhere in the world so you can access the internet as if you were there. And why would I want to do that, John? Well, for example, did you know that Hulu is only available in the US? That's not a joke. I didn't realize that until like 2 days ago. Did you know that? But with Surfshark VPN, if you find yourself vacationing on the sweet sandy beaches of Western Canada, you can put yourself back in the States no problem and go back to watching the best cooking show known to man. That, of course, being Chopped, all 59 seasons of it. Now that's a vacation if I've ever heard of one. Isn't that right, folks? Now, how can viewers get access to this service? Well, if they click the first link in the description, they can get 4 months of Surfshark VPN for free. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee in case they change their mind. That is truly exceptional work. John, I must say thank you for being here with us, taking time out of your busy schedule. It means a lot. It's no problem. Truly, I am deeply unemployed. Now that's refreshing. I lied to you. This is a cup of water. Okay, now, where was I? Right, it's all lies! The point is, things can be purchased on credit, bought one day and immediately returned the next. There are fakes and dupes as far as the eye can see. None of this is real! It's all smoke and mirrors. This isn't how real life is for 90% of people. And in case it hasn't been abundantly made clear to you yet, most of the people you see on social media are not rich. They can't be. You know why? In doing my research for this video, there was a common theme that kept coming up that I think is necessary for understanding this topic, and that's that we are poor. And you may be thinking, well, I think I do quite well for myself. No. Statistically speaking, no. Everything most of us think we know about riches and living like a wealthy person is from a poor person's perspective, and is therefore likely very inaccurate to the actual experience. Have you ever had friends or family who aren't from the US who have wild expectations of what it's like to live here. They think that McDonald's is the national grocery store. They think that LA, Miami, and New York City are all somehow one car drive away from each other. This is true. My sister, who lived for the first 14 years of her life abroad, when she finally got to the US, she was disappointed because, in her words, she thought that we lived in a mansion in Hollywood and would be neighbors with Zac Efron or a late 2000s Zac Efron equivalent. Is she really not gonna pick up?
Hello?
Oh, hey. Can you tell me what you expected the US to be like when you moved here?
I expected everybody to be rich.
Do you remember the Zac Efron thing?
What Zac Efron thing?
How you thought you were gonna live next to Zac Efron?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was gonna be in High School Musical. I was gonna audition.
Sure.
I thought I was gonna be living the good life, man.
Okay, you served your purpose. Thank you.
What? Nah, I served my purpose. I'm screaming.
So you hear things like that and you can't help but wonder to yourself, what do you think America is? Okay, so take that feeling and apply it to this, because like I said previously, we are all poor. And please, leave your pride at the door, because I don't want to hear about, well, technically, I just got a promotion last Thursday and I'm taking the wife and kids to Cancun this summer. We're all poor relative to the ultra rich and the people that have most of the money. They live in a completely different world, a world to which we are foreign to. So what we assume they live like is probably ridiculous when compared to what they actually live like. For example, there are a number of designer brands that are specifically for the actual rich people that us non-rich people would have no idea about. Now, what are they? I don't know. I'm not rich. I do a little bit of research, so I did find some names like John Lobb, Laura Piana, and Loretta Capone. None of those were said right. I apologize. I've never heard of them. Maybe they're like super famous and I'm just dumb. That's also possible. I don't know. But at the very least, when it comes to the part of a theory about how it is made specifically for the ultra rich, when looking at a jacket I found from a designer brand called Stefano Ricci, I can rest easy knowing that part of my theory was correct. That's insulting. Oh my. You see, what we consider luxury brands are simply just fancy stuff for poor people. There's the age-old question: if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it even make a sound? Well, yes, obviously, because that's how physics works. But if an influencer buys an expensive item that their audience doesn't recognize, is it even a flex? Luxury brands only work because we recognize them as rich people things. We're supposed to hope that one day we'll be rich and famous and that we can shop at these brands that'll be a sign of our overflowing wealth. I'm talking big ugly logos, the finer things in life.
This is the height of luxury!
We wouldn't associate actual rich people brands with riches because we don't recognize them. We don't know what this stuff is. It doesn't mean anything. And that is why influencers will buy copious amounts of the poor people fancy stuff, because we see it, recognize it, and then we think that that person is rich. Like if they bought 10 Louis Vuitton bags in a shopping haul, we would be like, yes, woo, look at you buy things with money. But if they bought like a single hat that cost more than all those 10 bags combined from a luxury brand from Italy that we've never heard of, cool, dude. Seems like a waste of money, but okay. Because it's not always about the money, Spider-Man. It's about... Sorry, it's a funny line. Because it's not always about the money, Spider-Man. It's about impressing strangers on the internet. I've recently started to dabble into the world of finance, seeing as that now I'm technically an adult and that money is necessary in order to not die on the street. And one of the things I'm starting to really appreciate is that when you're trying to gain wealth and money in general, you really need to pay yourself first. Because anytime you're giving money to anybody but yourself, you are paying other people. Those are the only two options. This really passionate guy with big glasses on Instagram explained this concept very well.
Do not buy anything. You don't need it. Nothing is on sale and nothing is a bargain. Everything is being sold for the exact price a retailer wanted it to sell. Markdowns do not exist. The only sale worth buying is the sale in which you spend $0.00. If you are spending money, you are losing every single time. Don't get it twisted. If you are shopping, you are spending money. When you spend money, you become more broke.
It is such a simple concept that somehow our brains complicate. Keep money, have money. Spend money, don't have money. So then why do we think that people who spend ridiculous amounts of money have money? They don't. They just gave it away. See, what we're actually assuming is that what they spent is just a fraction of what they actually have. But it probably isn't. In all likelihood, it's probably most of what they have. It is possible to make millions of dollars and still live paycheck to paycheck because you spend it on absolutely absurd things. Because the goal for them isn't to build wealth, it's to look rich and to have as much fun as they possibly can right now. If their goal was to actually be rich, they would not be living like that. Consider this. Remember that loser with the Toyota Corolla that we were making fun of a few minutes ago? What a loser, that guy. He drives an old car, he uses an iPhone 7, and last I saw, he shops at the thrift store. That guy is just a I'm sorry, what was that? He has a stock portfolio worth $3.7 million. That's interesting. Well, how was I supposed to know? He just looks like some guy. Where's his Lambo? Where's his mansion? Where's his online course where he teaches the 100% attainable and not at all ethically dubious way in which he gained his earnings? He doesn't have that stuff because that stuff would make him poorer. It is a simple concept, and yet I don't know why I was surprised by it while making this video. If he were to spend money on those things, it would make him a less wealthy man. He will have more riches as long as he resists the urge to prove that he has riches. He can instead be content living below his means, investing his money, and then in a few years he can retire and not have to work and live the life that he wants to. See, and that's what makes an actual normal rich person saving money and not spending every cent of it. They have nothing to prove to me or to you, so if we walked by a millionaire like this on the street, we wouldn't even notice them. The goal of working is to get money so that one day we don't have to work, right? That's what we're all doing. We're trying to build towards a future. We want to retire. That's the goal, right? Like, money is a tool that is supposed to cover our necessities and, if at all possible, grant us a measure of freedom and relative peace. And that's it. But none of that will be possible if we blow every paycheck we get on the first shiny thing that we see. So with that sobering thought in mind, it begs the question. In general, we as people are really bad at gauging how other people will respond to our bragging. Because as people, it's very easy to be self-centered, and so we assume that if something that we're talking about makes us happy, it'll make other people happy as well. It's kind of like when a toddler walks up to you and they're like, ooh, ooh, watch me, watch me! Wasn't that the coolest friggin' thing you've ever seen? That kid lacks the basic awareness needed to realize that nothing about that was impressive and no one should in their right mind care about that at all. See, all he can think about is, I think it's cool, so surely everyone else does. But he's wrong. He's so stupid and wrong. The adult equivalent is shifting a topic in a conversation so we can brag about something that we have done. It's a 27-year-old toddler trying to show the group the cool cartwheel they can do. I was not doing a bit. That is the best cartwheel I can do. I'm being very vulnerable with you here. Speaking of children, I don't know if you know this, but children are very dumb. And they gotta just like believe anything you tell them. Crazy, right? So it may not be like the best idea to imply and sometimes yell at them saying that all happiness comes from material possessions and owning things. I just think back to when I was a kid. I say that like I'm 40, I'm not. I struggled a lot with the idea of being worthwhile without proof. Like, what I thought makes a good person is being able to go band for band with other people, not necessarily with money, because I for sure did not have that, but like when you compare yourself with other people, how many friends do you have? How good are your grades? I don't know, how many people like you? How many people do you know? How many people think you're cool? Just like stats, I guess. I would always keep it in my mind that I needed to increase my stats as high as possible, and as I did that, I would become a more worthy person. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to grow up with adults yelling at me on the internet telling me that, yeah, my stats thing is correct, but it's not about friends and family, it's about money. Get as much as that as possible, and you'll be as happy as you could ever dream to be. Because children don't have the emotional intelligence to understand that people have inherent worth. They think, if I don't have a Lambo by the time I'm 20, my parents will never love me. I am 20 years old currently, and I drive a 2010 Hyundai Sonata that I share with my sister. I am not doing great. I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but I feel like it's extremely difficult to truly be an individual. Like, to truly be doing your own thing. I don't mean you're like, you hate what's mainstream, you hate what's popular, you're not like other girls, and you're like the millions of other girls who also aren't like other girls. Like, you actually are not affected by popular opinion. You just do you. That seems so cool and yet so elusive. Like, that's gotta be like the final boss of therapy, right? That's like the end goal. Because it's at this point that your life is truly yours. If everything you do is controlled by the opinions of other people, then it's in the palm of their hands, not yours. So we put ourselves in debt, unnecessarily stress ourselves out, just so we can appear to be a happier individual, all the while we are making ourselves a less happy individual. Why is this the default option? Why is it so easy to do this to ourselves? Why? Look, I'm not gonna lie. This video has been rather harsh, and while I was first making it, I didn't really see that as a problem, but then I heard this really interesting thought from a professor giving a lecture, and by professor giving a lecture, I do mean scrolling on social media and seeing a comment. It said that it's not fair to call someone dumb for having a hard time resisting a system that teaches them to desire material things. Like, if you're told from birth that you should seek to buy everything that brings you delight and that'll make you happy, it'll make your friends and family happy. You're just told if you have money, you'll have a great life. And you're told that, like, from birth. And then when you finally become an adult and you have the adult money to do those things, you do it. You spend the money. It's not exactly fair to be like, why did you believe them? Because that's what everyone told me to do. I'm supposed to buy the fast car, the big house, the designer clothes. That's the dream. That's what I'm supposed to strive for. Until you realize none of that was necessary. It was not worth the money. And I am in so much debt. Like a comical amount of debt. A negative number should not have this many zeros type of debt. So to recap, we're being tempted to buy things we don't need and barely want in order to prove that we're wealthy and successful, while in the process becoming less wealthy and less successful in order to impress strangers who either don't care, find it offensive and annoying, or now have an inferiority complex because they think that we're better than them and have more things than they will ever have, even though in reality, this may be well far from the truth. So again, why are we doing this? Well, I have an idea, and it's pretty simple, really. You hate yourself. Okay, maybe hate is a strong word, but this type of behavior is indicative of low self-esteem and a need for the approval of others. See, when I was a kid, I just assumed that those were childish things that you kind of just get over with age, but really, you don't. You just get older. So you can hide it from yourself and mask it by other traits like bravado or humble bragging, but at the end of the day, you're acting like a person who needs the attention and approval of others 24/7. But you know, it's dangerous to live your life like this, because if everything that you do, buy, and say is all based on the opinions of others, then your life is no longer yours. So when it comes to this thing of luxury goods, like, really think to yourself, am I buying this because I like it? Or do I just want to show that I can afford it? Or am I trying to fit in with a certain class or clique of people? Why am I doing this? It's not wrong to want to control things in your life, but we simply have to acknowledge that there are things in life that we cannot control, and that includes what other people think and feel about you. The simple fact is, there is nothing you can do to change how people think and feel about you. See, any attempt that you make to do that is you not being you, it's you playing a character. So you can try and morph the way you walk, talk, and breathe and move or whatever, but that's not really what you do, and you know that's not what you do because you're trying. If you weren't trying, you would just naturally be default you. So yeah, maybe they like this character that you're playing. That doesn't change the fact that they don't like who you really are. There are 8 billion people on Earth, and there is nothing you can do to change the fact that a certain percentage of them will never like you. They'll never like you. Now, it's possible to push that percentage as close to zero as it can get by becoming the most inoffensive, unoriginal, no opinions, no beliefs, pushover person you can be, but would you enjoy that? As one of my favorite self-help guys on YouTube, Better Ideas, said,
You'll be liked by everyone, but loved by no one.
and trust me, I've been there. Part of me feels like I'm still there, but it's not great. If 100% of the people you know don't like you, there's a problem. But if 100% of the people you know do like you, there's probably also a problem. Or somebody's lying to you and they're talking about you behind your back. Either way, you gotta fix something there. A newly renovated kitchen, new shoes, a pay-to-win blue checkmark that verifies absolutely nothing. There's many ways to prove with money that you are a winner, but that's lazy because it's easy to try and prove that you're a winner with external things. Like, for example, BMW drivers are winners. I own a BMW. I must be winning in life. That way, if somebody tries to judge you, call you out, or say that you're not a winner, you can be like, excuse me, do you know what insert item I own? Why do you need the validation and praise of other people? I'm not saying those aren't good things and that they're not cool. I like them. I love compliments. Oh my gosh. But I'm saying, like, why do we need them? You know, like, we can live without them. We don't have to chase them like our lives depend on it. I've been noticing something really interesting lately is that on days that I'm feeling not confident, insecure, whenever I receive a compliment, I take it as if this is the confirmation I need to believe that I am a good and decent person. Like, yeah, my inner voices tell me that I suck, but Jeff said he likes my outfit today. So clearly he's right, and I can just depend on that, and I don't have to deal with everything going on in here. But on days that I do feel confident, insecure, and like my own person, and I receive a compliment, do you know what I'm thinking then? Oh, cool. Thank you. And that's it. In the first instance, I treat it like food that I need to live. But on the good days, I see it as it truly is. A treat. You know, it's nice every now and then, but it's not necessary for me to not die. Like, on the good days, I'm no longer dependent on people to decide if I'm valuable as a person. It's like I already know that. And anything beyond that is like a bonus. There was this blog post written in 2008 by a man named Scott H. Young with this as his author photo, and it changed my life. He said, in part, "The people I have the most respect for aren't trying to get my respect. They're just living their lives. Any respect I have is a side effect, not the purpose of what they do." And this is so true, bro. You can tell when somebody's trying really hard to impress you, and it just comes across as sad and weird. How do I know this? Because many a time I have been sad and weird. If you feel the need to impress people and force them to see you and laugh with you, the opposite is gonna happen. When you leave the room, they're just gonna laugh at you. And that doesn't mean that it's easy to be unaffected by what others think of you. I remember reading in a book, and by a book, I do mean a YouTube video of a girl recording in her car. And she said that confident people still care about what other people think about them. They just learn to include their own opinion in the equation of deciding whether or not that opinion matters. We can't lie. We care about what other people think of us. That's fine. That's normal. That's what makes us, not psychopathic. The key is to learn not to let that overrun what you think and what you want. The designer clothes, house, and doormat aren't gonna make you feel better in a permanent way. It's a high that lasts for a day and then you come back to reality and chase that feeling again. And it's just a vicious cycle that leaves you broke both emotionally and financially. I'm gonna be so honest, it is hard to have opinions sometimes. Like, can't you guys do like all the research and the reading of books and the going of therapy and traveling far away and discovering who you are? Just do all that, report back to me, and then tell me who I'm supposed to be. That would be way easier. Like, just go figure all that out and then I'll copy your homework and I'll just make sure it's a little different. Doesn't that sound good? No, we can't do that. That's bad. No. The point is, whatever joy and contentment we're all desperately seeking for is not at the bottom of an empty bank account. So let's not waste all our money trying to find it there. I really think designer clothes are stupid. That's it. That's the end of the video. Bye.